Yeah. So I was just saying, personally, my observation actually feel good in Ramadan. I don't really have any sort of negative impact. It's just more, you don't have the mental energy to overthink or think negatively. And
Mm,
maybe it's just placebo, or I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel like there's a big difference. Like you just don't have the mental energy to think negatively and just focus on what you need to do. I don't know if anyone can relate with me, but I feel pretty good. Like I'm getting on with the day. Um, Nothing much is different. But yeah, like we'll kind of focus on what people are feeling at the moment and how you feel like you would be taking on the outbounds and taking your sales calls over the next week. And we'll just map out a plan for that. A couple of people did get results this week. Amina got her $700 client. Amira got a client. So, good stuff happening. But yeah, inshallah, let's get even better results this week. A couple of people, they're on the way to booking a couple of consultations this coming month, because of course, Ryan, you could also confirm that March Q1, last month of Q1, should be relatively slightly easier to get a couple of clients because of the existing momentum that businesses already have, and everyone wants to grow, they want to expand, etc.
yep.
So let's really maximize March. Yes, we are fasting, but let's not waste the month that we have. But yeah, I'll let you take over, Ryan.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So I think we probably brainstorm between us and give everyone some benefit on ways they can maximize each day and each week, especially if you are facing lower mental energy. From experience and just looking again, all the teams that I've been involved with, those high performance teams, what always sticks out is they've got a plan each week. They always have a plan for the week and then also for the month, and keeping really, I know, again, probably regurgitated stuff over and over, but three main priorities that you're looking to tackle each week on top of what your sort of non-negotiables are. What you've got to make sure is that you're going to probably have that mental voice potentially telling you, oh, it's all right, take a rest, don't do it, it'll be easier next week. The danger with that is it will take over and you'll find yourself a week later not able to keep at the capacity you were a week before. And it's just making sure that you keep those non-negotiables non-negotiable during this period. And especially you'll benefit from it even greater once you get out of it, because you've kept that mental muscle constantly under work and been using it fully. And allows you to keep confidence in yourself as well, because there are going to be moments for the Ramadan or other things in life that will always happen where you're going to potentially get derailed. There's going to be a reason why I could wait for this moment and then do it, or I should delay it till now and wait till later. The more you keep focusing on just those actions and don't give in to the indulgence of accepting comfort, because there's no such thing, you'll be leaps ahead of everyone else. And one thing I would say is, as Arzam said, what typically happens in the business world, especially coming into the new year, Christmas time, everyone kind of relaxes a bit. There's a lot of dead weight that gets dropped, and it's a bit like the cyclical nature of nature. It tends to be everyone sheds their skin a bit. They start the new year, not maybe in full energy, and they build up and the spring gets closer, it gets warmer, it gets more lighter. You will naturally see more of an increase where people are putting the foot down more. They've brushed off winter, and it allows for great conversations in business. March is always a very good time of the year, because everyone's they've got past their stagnation. They've realized it's them against them. They've started to get some business coming in. They're getting cash flow, and they know they have to double down now. So businesses are even more proactive this time of the year, as we then lead closer into the following few months as well. But that's always the case. So take full advantage of it.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to also potentially mention is I've told everyone in the program, when we first begin, just charge 200 upfront. At least just charge 200 upfront and then do some sort of percentage model. Because at the beginning, it's just getting that first initial momentum. And in business, that's all that matters at the beginning. Right. But after that, we're aiming to get at least £800, 1,000 USD, and then just keep scaling. And Abdul, he just recently charged 4K. I think it's a 16th, 17th client. I could be completely wrong, but he's just charged 4K. So you can build yourself up to that. But the reason I'm mentioning this right now is, let's say if the market is supporting us, if they're already in the mindset, then we might as well just take use of that and go to the part that we need to get to anyway, which is around 2K USD a month as a retainer. So I wanted to quickly just share 2-3 minutes of the program that I've invested into. And it's not just a program, it's an agency that has a program just to give you additional help. But this agency is doing about $1 million a month. And this is them basically saying, okay, this is what you need to do if you're a beginner or you have a new offer. So this is what is expected. Like, this is the pricing structure. And Ryan, I'll be very quick. I thought this would be useful for people knowing that, okay, we're in the season, there is momentum. Might as well go directly to this if we can, if we have the confidence.
Yep.
So, okay, is everyone okay with 1.5x speed? If you're not, just drop in no. And it's nothing shameful. It's fine if you don't want to understand it properly. But anyone not okay with 1.5x speed? No? Assuming everyone's okay. Cool.
A 20x return on pricing would mean you're charging $1,000 a month. But if you're charging $1,000 a month and generating your clients 20,000 a month, you're charging way too low. Like, that should be 2,000 a month minimum, 20,000 a month return. Then if you wanted to get that 20,000 a month return to, or that 10x return to 20x or 30x, just make your fulfillment better. Get your clients from 20,000 to 30,000 or 40,000 a month return. And even then you could probably look at bumping your price up anyway as your value increases. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's kind of just like the general rule of thumb. Now, if it's a new offer, okay, if you have a relatively new offer, which you don't have much proof with yet, here's how I recommend pricing to start. So when I talk about a new offer, I'm more specifically referring to offers where you don't have much proof, okay? If that is you, here's how I recommend to price. If you're any type of agency or service-based business, I would recommend to do 2.5K to 3K per month with a 3 to 4 month minimum. So in other words, that would be a roughly 12K for 4 month type initial project period. That's what I recommend to, again, start with if you're an agency. If you're a coaching or consulting type business, if it's biz up, then I recommend doing a roughly 4,800 for 12 to 16 weeks, or in other words, 4 months. Just for whatever reason in the coaching space, typically it's based on weeks, like 12 to 16 weeks is how people think about it. Whereas in the agency space, it's months, right? So if it's biz up, as I say, 4,800 for 12 to 16 weeks. If you're in health, weight loss, or relationships, I recommend doing 28 to 3,800 for 12 to 16 weeks. Okay. So just again, starting points, right? And essentially the idea here is you want to price low enough initially to where price isn't an objection. All right. Because in the early days of any new offer, you always want to optimize for flow. In other words, new clients over profit. Why? Because that's what's going to allow you to get the results you need to be able to increase your price. If you're just starting out on a brand new offer, and you're not closing, but your price is 10K or something ridiculous, given that you've got no results to back up that price point to prove that actually the price is 1/10 of the value you're going to be generating them. If you don't have that proof, then people aren't going to be buying your offer, not because they don't want your offer, but because of the price. So now you're losing out on clients because the pricing is too high. It's too high for the value that you have to show proof for, right? And so instead what you want to do is just drop it a little bit and optimize for flow first. Get the clients in, work with the clients, get them results. Now that you've got those results, you can go back to your pricing and bump it to where it really should be, which again, really where it should be is 1/10 of the value. Hopefully this is.
By the way, he does explain at the beginning, it's not 1/10 of cash value, it's 1/10 of general value. It doesn't mean that you have to generate them 20K to charge 2K. It's general value that you can offer to the business. But anyway, the reason why I wanted to show you that is, look, he's talking about big pricing as 10K a month. And he's saying at least charge 2.5K USD a month. For you guys, let's just optimize for flow even more, considering you guys have never ever done this before. Let's just aim for 1.5K a month, which is around 1,200 pounds. So charge that per month. It's possible. It's expected. It's expected, like, at the very least. So guys, understand we are in the season where the market is kind of supporting us. There's not much resistance, or there isn't as much resistance as there was a couple months ago. So you can do this. So if you are confident, go straight into it. If you're not confident, just do it one step at a time. That's pretty much it. But yeah, Ryan, please take the board in.
Yep, no, absolutely. And the other good thing about you guys focusing on flow is the big thing is building confidence up, isn't it? It's getting to that point where you've had a few deals across the line. You've actually done the work. You've worked with your contractors and your team, and you begin to then building proper connections and a proper organization. The quicker you get to going there, the easier it is to then speak to more prospects about what you do, because you'll have been involved in it, hands-on, seen how it works. So the next time you're then speaking to a prospect, maybe the concerns or the anxiety you may have felt prior, they will wash away massively. And then as soon as you start seeing results, the confidence gets even better, because wow. And then you'll find this phenomenon will tend to happen. You'll be like lowering your price to get flow in, and you'll be like, oh, Oh, should I not? Should I do it? I've done it. Great. Got the customer. Finally. Then you're going to be feel maybe a little bit anxious because you want to get the results. The best time then is double down to get those results, because the easiest person to get more business from is the person you're really doing business with. They're happy if you're the person and you're the business generating cash for them and a means to make more money. They're going to be your best friend. There's nothing stopping you from upselling, increasing your prices, negotiating a new deal. At the end of the day, if you've proven your value at that point, they're going to sit back and go, oh, wow, we need you. And if you come back and ask for something else, you've done a good job. Why wouldn't they? Because they don't want to go through the entire journey again of finding a stranger, going through back and forth, whether it won't work, whether it will. They've got you. So know when you've done all that work, it compounds massively. And the other thing to consider as well, because we are in the season where everyone is very proactive and very hungry. Well, do you imagine this saying, birds of a feather flock together? These agency owners, these people you're working with, I doubt they live in a cave by themselves and isolate themselves. I bet that they have other people that they know that are also in business that would also benefit from your services. And the moment you deliver a result, it's just a given. Just ask, well, name what I've done for you. Clearly you're happy. Who else do you know that you can put me in contact with that I could give the same level of value to? You'll watch everything start opening exponentially. It will go from one customer to 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 to 20, as Abdul has already proven. And remember, you've done that hard work. So utilize what you've put in there, and it will make leaps and bounds of a difference. Arzam, you've probably seen it. As you've got more results, it just exponentially keeps growing. Yeah. More people keep talking about it, and it gives you so much leverage. But the beauty of it is, the more that you focus on just getting the flow in, the easier it is for you to speak about it. And once it then becomes kind of what's the word? It kind of comes ingrained into your subconscious. You won't even need to think about it on the top of your head all the time. You'll be able to be more engaged with your prospect, more engaged in the situation, and it will allow you to naturally become the expert more than you are already. And you'll get more buy-in. They'll be more confident in working with you. And it's just it goes very exponential at that point. It's just, of course, maintaining your performance before you get there and making sure that you have your non-negotiables ticked off every day. Whether you feel like it or you don't, you've got to tick them off. Again, we can use the analogy like the gym. But, working out, if we don't feel like it one day, we skip it, and we can skip it for the next few days and then the next few weeks. And then before you know it, we've not been back for a few months. We put some weight on, we're a bit weaker, we're a bit less fit, and we go, damn, how do we get there? Same thing will happen in this business if you're not careful. This is just how this game of life and business can work all the time. You keep those actions non-negotiable and try and make it as easy for yourself as possible. Once you get those customers on the line, as Arzam said, and even as that program we said, reduce the pricing just to focus on flow. Get them on board. Focus your efforts on giving them the best service possible, and they will return and give you more business than you could imagine.
Yeah. Just the fundamentals, like just get flow first. Don't cause friction. Don't overthink. Don't think, how will I do it? How will I deliver the results? That's what Awais is for. A lot of people, I don't know if you guys have seen it on week 2 and 3 or not, but I have provided you a proven media buyer. As in, I've worked with the guy. He does work. He knows what he's doing. He's generated 15,000 plus leads, worked with 10 different plus industries. So he knows what he's doing. So just for now, rely on him. But a couple of people like Tahir, they found their own media buyers now. They've got the hang of it. And now they've found their own media buyers after a couple of clients. And then we can always do that at the end. But at the beginning, just don't cause any friction for no reason. Just actually get as many clients as possible. Just Ryan, I might have said this on the last group meeting, but step 1 of starting any sort of business is just complete brute force. Forget about the doubts. Forget about whatever you're thinking at the moment that you feel like you aren't going to be able to do it or are going to be able to do it. Just forget about it. Just brute force, get it done, get a couple of clients. And number 2 is, once you do get a couple of clients, realize that it wasn't just luck, that life is cause and effect. Meaning, if you have got those clients, it was you doing the right thing, following the right system. So just keep on doing it over and over again. That should take you to 6 figures and multiple 6 figures. After that, it's just about how you operate, your health, your mindset. But before that, it really is just brute force and just keep doing what works. It really is as simple as that. Success simplified. It's not complicated.
Yes, it is. And look, I see some of the challenges that potentially get posed to you each day based in this sort of mostly digital world that we live in now. You'll probably start speaking out your problems one place and see a Facebook ad the next minute hitting into those pain points straight away, and it's almost like they're listening. And one thing I would say, right, when you're getting going, as Arzam said, up to those 6 figures, it's just brute force. You do not have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to change the alloys. You don't need to change the color of anything. Keep it exactly as it is, because if it got you 1 customer, it will get you 2 customers. If it get you 2, it can get you 5 to 10. It doesn't have to change. It doesn't need to change. The risk is you'll get to that point where you get a few and you'll be like, oh, all right, I'm feeling it now. What if I do this? What if I do that? Ooh, maybe I should look at that. Look at that. The other risk is you then become sidetracked into the shiny object of the business world of needing all these new software systems and processes that you didn't need to get you those customers in the first place. So don't also fall prey to thinking you need more when it's already got you to where you need to be, which is getting customers in the first place. And as Arzam, and I think a lot of students have proven, it may sound simple because it is, but simple doesn't just mean it's always. We tend to dismiss simple things and seek complexity, doesn't it? Because it sounds better when we went through this fantastic magical path to reaching our goal here. But in fact, the simpleness of it is just those simple actions repeated. It really is that, and it's so hard for some of us to fully understand and realize that, because we always think we're missing something. We're not. There's nothing you're missing at that point. Don't cast any doubt into your mind. As you've seen, it works if you just do those actions and put those inputs in. And like I said, just don't fall prey to thinking that once you've got a few customers, you have to then reinvent yourself again and change the whole system. It works because it works. And that sounds so simple, but it really is. I've been there myself many times in the past. You get to a certain milestone, you think you have to completely change everything. It will end up causing you a whole heap of problems if you do that. And you'll go down rabbit holes you won't need to go down, and you'll expel so much energy, which is obviously the main thing we want to conserve. Don't focus on having to go brand new. Brand new means having to learn. And if you're having to learn things beyond what you already know working, it's going to take a lot of energy from you. So again, just keep it simple and you will not be able to fail categorically.
Yeah. With the main concerns people have, or the main mental blocks that people have, is, what if I promise them something that I can't deliver? I'm just going to put it out there. What is the best way to kind of overcome that and still go in and get first 2 to 3 clients, and just trust that you'll be able to figure out? And how would you approach that?
What if it doesn't work out? I mean, the other side of it is business. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees in life. Like, yes, we can obviously offer a guarantee with our business, but what if it doesn't work out? Communicate. Show that you're trying to do your utmost best to make sure that you can improve the situation. No one's going to be against you when they see you are actually trying. People in business understand that there's no such thing as this linear path to straightforward success. Things can happen. And ultimately, as long as you keep consistent with the actions, that will always be the safety net of any challenges you have, because that will always back you up. But don't put so much pressure on yourself that always has to be an absolute. You may feel there has to be when you're the first time going in, that you have to prove yourself to this big audience. You don't. People are quite realistic when you look at it. If you communicate clearly and you show that your efforts are put in there and you're trying to do your best, you'll actually realize that everyone's still a human at the end of the day. They understand that things can happen. So worst case, if something happens, that business owner knows deep down at the end of the day, there is also no guarantees in life. Like there just isn't. And so don't put the pressure on yourself expecting perfection each time. But if you actually then measure and look at the results you've got them, a lot of the time they're still off in a far better position. But I would always say, open communication, don't hide under a rock. If anything ever did go wrong, communicate. It sounds obvious as well, but that communication and you just being there, trying to show that you're doing your best, people appreciate it more than you can possibly imagine.
Yeah. It's just more about them seeing, okay, I am moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
They can realistically see as a business owner, they're completely silly and they don't track numbers. That's a different story. But most business owners do track their numbers, their P&L, how much they're making or not. And if they are working with you and there's some sort of improvement, most likely, and if you are a pleasant person, they will continue to work with you. Right? You just need to maintain that, the pleasant communication with them, and then show them that, okay, we are moving forward, although we might not be there already, but we are on the way there, or we're in a much better place to actually get there than you were before with you. That's all there is in a service-based business. It's like Ryan mentioned, not inventing the wheel, follow the systems, productize your sales process, meaning once you see that, okay, you're doing the calls and you've done the outbound and this is the KPI, this is, you've done this many calls, this is how many sales calls you booked, this is what it took to actually close them. You need to record everything. Once you have everything recorded, the quicker we can get onto the automation part and delegating everything, so you don't actually have to do it yourself. Productizing just basically means make it into something that isn't new every time. It's basically the same process, meaning the same result every time. And then that's something that you can delegate to someone else and just say, okay, just follow this process because it worked, because I did this. Just do this. It really is as simple as that. What do you think? Like, these big multi-million-dollar businesses, they reinvent the wheel with each customer. It's not. It's basically like a conveyor belt. Just imagine like a conveyor belt with, like, let's give you an example of 7-Up, right? So each 7-Up bottle isn't a new one. It's the same thing, same process, same formula over and over again. And you can basically just say, okay, this batch, I know it is as expected because you follow the same chemicals, same formula, same everything. That's exactly what multiple 6-figure, 7-figure businesses. Correct me if I'm wrong anywhere, right?
Yeah, no, you're completely right, because there's no need to reinvent the wheel at that point. Once it's been proven that someone accepts the deal and is happy to do business and you've got them a result, you just got to take what that is there that you've got and repeat that. There's nothing else you have to do at that point. Of course, know who you're speaking to. You'll have an avatar. That avatar, whoever it is you work with, whether it's med spas, whether it's traders, whether it's construction companies, whoever it is, you'll have your avatar. They're not going to change overnight. They will remain the same. And once you found one person, you'll find another person that has the same problem in that industry, and that's just, then you just go connect with those people. If you look at it, sometimes we can get a bit confused when it's online and we forget that it's the same principles if it was a physical business. Like if you all just had a gardening business right now and knew the way to do it was to knock on 10 doors and get one customer and focus on those who had gardens that were a bit messy, you'd go, well, that's simple enough. It's the same thing with your business. You'll look for the numbers you have to hit. You look for the same indicators to show it's in the same marketplace and with the same problems. You hit them and give an offer. You'll get the repeatable business time and time again. And then once you get the result, that result and the process of how you got the result is near enough copy and paste for the next one and the next one after. And then it allows you to save so much time, because I appreciate some of you guys might feel like, oh my God, it takes so much time, so much energy. But you just got to get that process nailed down get a customer on board, get a result, and that becomes repeatable. It is literally copy and paste. There's nothing else you have to do different at that point. And that's where the real fun begins, because you'll start seeing, you'll have a lot more available time. You'll have a lot more energy because you won't have to put it into it. And then you start leveraging other people's time, through the process Arzam's given you. And then it becomes really fun because it goes, well, how big do I want it to go? Like, how big should I? How big do I want to go? And that's up to you how large you want to scale it. But ultimately, service won't change, the marketplace won't change. Just keep repeating the process of how you got in front of people and closed them, and it becomes a fun game at that point of how much cash do you want to collect.
Yeah. So it's basically just working out a system and then reverse engineer from the amount that you actually want to make. So, for example, this guy that I'm learning from, he says, every single month, you should be looking at the previous month's P&L and seeing, okay, where was the biggest bottleneck? And the main question is, what is stopping me from doubling the attention, meaning doubling the the ad spend, right? So if you can double the ad spend, you'll make twice as much. Now, in order for us to double the ad spend, we need to have a predictable system. Right? So step one is creating that predictable system. And it all just starts from the first couple of 100 outbounds that you do yourself, when you go through the rejections and people say no, and you finally get a first client. Okay, this is how it works. Then you get your second client, third client, and then you're like, okay, fair enough. Now I can automate things. Then you can get to that point of just asking yourself the question, how can I double my ad spend this month? And what is stopping me from doubling my ad spend this month? Is it fulfillment? Is it I don't know if I can fulfill twice as many people? Will I be able to close twice as many people? It's just answering those questions, fixing those bottlenecks, and literally doubling, tripling your business every year, which is nothing out of the ordinary if you're in the right market. That's pretty much it from my side. I feel like we shouldn't make this call too long. I know that everyone is fasting. You probably want to rest, do the Baba. But yeah, any last points that you'd like to mention, Ryan?
Last points. I think, again, during this time, do not put all the pressure on your shoulders to overcomplicate it. Keep it as simple, and I keep rabbiting on about it, but keep it as simple, honestly, as you can. Don't worry about anything shiny for these next few weeks. Just go in and do that work that you know has to be done. And also another thing, with the light at the end of the tunnel is when it comes to you scaling your company and you then having more people working for you, which ultimately is your goals. I know you'll want to have teams and have people working for you, so you appreciate the benefits that come with that. Make sure you're the person that can lead these people, meaning lead yourself first down that proven path, and it will become a night and day difference when you take other people down that path, and then when you can help them succeed down that path, because you will find people that will want to go down that path with your company and stay there. But it's very difficult to lead when you're not in a place who's managed to lead themselves down that path. And when you have, you'll understand the situation, you'll understand what they go through, you'll understand how to build out a process, and it will become it will be far more beneficial for you managing that team and growing that team when you've actually been there, because you'll be able to speak to them with authenticity as an actual leader who's done it. And look, pat yourself on the back for it. You'll be proud of yourself at the same time. It's a good thing when you've gone through that path. It is a bit of a trial and tribulation. It's there to prove yourself to yourself. And I said, as it comes to building that business, if you skip that now and you try to jump ahead, the world will always have a way of trying to snap you back down to that beginning again, every time, because there'll be things you'll be blind to. And there is no benefit in being blind when you literally get given the vision right here on what you have to do. And once you've seen it for yourself, it's done, isn't it? Like, it's no longer a doubt, it's no longer a concern. You know it to be true. And then when you come to building that team and growing it, you'll always be that leader that people can look to, where you can guide them. And that skill and that ability to have that compounds into 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures. Like I said, that's all on you at that point. But just make sure you don't skip the first bit of work, because it will compound when you understand and see what that is, to then when you have the company, you grow it, it will make a night and day difference as you as a leader and as a business owner. And you will thank yourself greatly for going through a very minor inconvenience if it feels like that right now.
Yeah. It is definitely tough. You can't deny that. At the beginning, it's very, very difficult. Like, honestly, for me, and I don't know, people have their own individual situations. For me, it was, and Ryan, you remember as well, I got fired from the job that I was doing, but I did some trading courses and this and that, and I was constantly investing into courses and not really finding any. And we met at a failed course investment. we met at a failed course investment for both of us. So I get what you mean by, I know it's difficult right now. It's incredibly challenging, but it does work out at the end. Like, that's just like a fact. Because, and I say it's a fact because you've seen it work for other people. I've shown you a live example of an 8-figure agency. So if they can do it, why can't you just get 5 to 10K a month? It really is as logical as that. So anyway, we'll end it here. Hopefully, inshallah, we can push through, maybe feeling a bit drained. And, of course, after a week and a half, we get used to it anyway, get back to a routine. But let's try and keep up with the outbound. Season is good. It's easy to get business. And if you can, charge at least 1.5 to 2K per month if you do feel confident. If you need a bit of sales advice, of course, shoot me a message. And of course, we have spoken earlier with Ryan, and he's kindly offered to, potentially come up with a plan and give you guys a bit of extra support with sales as well. So that can be arranged. But that's it from me, guys. Really appreciate the call, Ryan. We'll speak to you guys next week. Assalamu alaikum.
Goodbye, everyone.